Is photosynthesis. I know, I love this one too. I was like, ah. Another form of mutualism I've talked about, cleaning. This happens on land and at sea. This bird, as you can see, goes into the mouth of this alligator. You can tell it's an alligator because of its teeth rather than a crocodile. And it gets a free meal. This guy doesn't get eaten. Moray eels, like I say, cleaner wrasse. This is a cleaner shrimp. And these cleaner shrimp, like I say, they will hang out at little rocks. If you're snorkeling, if you're diving, and you see something like this, try and hang around because fish will come and you will see them all getting their teeth cleaned. This guy's getting his eye cleaned. This grouper here is also getting his eye cleaned of parasites. This is the little cleaner. Now there's a fish that looks a lot like the cleaner wrasse that is not a cleaner wrasse. It is looking like a cleaner wrasse so it can come in and snatch food from other fishes without getting eaten because they think, oh, it's a cleaner wrasse, I won't eat it. Not a cleaner wrasse. This, however, you can see what happens to a diver who opens his mouth here. The cleaner wrasse will go right in and say, oh my gosh, when was your last checkup? And now we come to Finding Nemo. There are actually 30 species in the clownfish family, and there's a little sort of a black guy with bright blue specks you might have seen if you were. I saw a lot of them. I did see some of these when I was snorkeling around, but I also saw a lot more of the black with the blue specks. But if you can see a little fish that's living in an anemone like this, it's a kind of clownfish. There are two kind of orange clownfish. There's the orange clownfish, and there's also one called the false clownfish. Now, they're really nearly identical, but they're two different species, and if you get close enough, you can count their dorsal spines. One of them, the true clownfish, has 10, and the other one has 11. It doesn't really make any difference except that the Disney version, which talks about the clownfish, uses in its drawings the false clownfish. And it just seemed like such a Disney thing to do. If you have the true and the false, why not use the false? Finding Nemo is about the heartbreak of a young clownfish who is removed from the wild and put in an aquarium. And this movie caused the demand for clownfish in aquariums to go up 3/4 in the U.S. We can only be happy that freeing Willie didn't have the same effect. It's also about the heartache of a father who's lost not only his wife, but then his young son. The other interesting thing about it is, remember I talked about how most reef fish change sex, and most go from female to male. But a few go from male to female, and the clownfish is one of those few. So if he'd lost his wife, instead of being brokenhearted, he probably would have just changed into a female. Now you can say all the ways Finding Nemo is wrong. Mutualism. This is one of my favorite forms of mutualism. Here you can see the shrimp has got this goby